Right, you're now live on YouTube.
Thank you.
Um,
And is Sharon our representative from the Bulls Club?
yeah,
Right,
I
okay.
believe so, yeah. Then put the camera
We've got it muted. So.
yeah, I've got to mute Chris as well. Yeah.
Okay. Right. So it's 7:30, so I can start.
Yeah.
Good evening and welcome to the Higham Forest Town Council Virtual Policy and Resources Committee meeting. There are a few housekeeping rules to note. As with meetings in the Town Hall, members of the public will be given an opportunity to speak during public participation, but will not be permitted to speak at any other time, and their microphones will be muted. The clerk has the ability to mute or remove anyone who does cause a nuisance. Of course, we hope that this won't be necessary. It is impossible to hear if everyone speaks at once. So that we have some order, I'd be grateful if you could speak one at a time and raise your hand if you'd like to speak. Voting will be by raising your hand. The meeting is being recorded. The first item on the agenda are apologies. So have we got any apologies?
No, it's full attendance. Oh, no, actually, we haven't got VJ, have we? No, VJ. No, sorry, VJ. Councillor Paul's not here.
Okay, thank you. Second item on the agenda is declarations of interest. To receive declarations of interest, disposable pecuniary interests or other interests, and the nature of those interests relating to items on the agenda. Has anybody got anything that they wish to declare? Councillor Whiting.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Item 5, the grant applications. 5.2, Risdon and Higham Town Cricket Club. Both my son-in-law and my grandson are connected to the Risdon side of the cricket club. And then also 5.3, St Mary's Church, as I am a member of the church.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Anybody else? Right, thank you. Item 3 on the agenda are the minutes. To approve and sign as a correct record the minutes of the meeting of the Policy and Resources Committee, which was held on the 13th of October 2020. You'll find this on pages 1 to 16 in your agenda pack. Has everybody read the minutes? Has anybody got any comment that they wish to make?
No, approve them as a true record.
Thank you. Could I have a seconder for that?
Yeah.
Right, thank you. And all those in favour, would you please show hands? Thank you. Right, thank you. I've signed those, Sandra, and I'll drop them to the Town Hall at some point tomorrow.
Okay, thank you.
The fourth item on the agenda is the public forum to allow any member of the public to address the meeting for a period of no longer than 3 minutes each. And we have a member of the public, Sharon.
But no, I think it's Mr. Gilbert.
They'll put me on mute.
Very nice, isn't it?
You're unmuted, Mr. Gilbert.
It's just tipping it down, Daddy.
Mr. Gilbert, you're unmuted.
Mr. Gilbert, we're ready for you to speak now. Mr. Gilbert, are you able to join us?
Don't you want
Mr. Gilbert? Oh.
I've asked him to start the video, so hopefully it might come on. Mr. Mr. Gilbert?
Perhaps it's gone out to redial.
Yeah, it's disappeared now.
Yeah.
Perhaps I suggest we just carry on and perhaps deal out the grant applications. We deal with that one last in case you just want to come in and say something.
Okay. Right, item 5 on the agenda, the grant applications for 2021 to 2022. Consider the following grant requests for 2021, which is on pages 17 to page 67 on your agenda pack. We're going to go to 5.2, which is the Rushden and Higham Town Cricket Club. So,
Madam Mayor, would you mind if I sat this one out? I think probably being I've got 2 members of the family involved. I'd rather not vote on this one.
all right.
I'll put you into the rating room then,
Okay.
Pam.
All right. Thank you.
Has anybody got any comments that they'd like to make on this request for a grant? Councillor Prigmore.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Looking through the books that they've sent, they're quite confusing. In as much as that, like on the 8th of the 11th this year, they reported a balance in 4 banks of 21,000, but they actually transferred £39,800 from one account into another. So they've got at least 60 odd thousand pounds in the kitty. They're paying players' wages, and there's bank transfers going on all over the place. Now, I understand that this money will be spent on the Higham Town Cricket Club. However, it is also part and parcel of Rushden Town Cricket Club. I do not see how we can give any money to the cricket club whilst they have a balance of 60 odd thousand quid sitting there waiting. Now, I do understand that there have been low expenditure this year, but they have received grants from other places reference COVID. So I just don't see how we can justify giving money to Rushden and Higham Cricket Club with such a high bank balance.
Thank you. Anybody else like to make a comment? Councillor Redding.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Yeah, I agree with Councillor Prigmore. We've had this before with the some years ago. Pam isn't on now, but she would remember with the football club who asked for a grant and then provided us with their accounts, which blew their whole grant request out of the water. And I know we're talking here about a club that is a joint club that's, as far as I understand it, has got 2 grounds to look after and a pavilion, but I do agree with Councillor Prigmore that it's a bit difficult to see. I mean, I was very surprised at the accounts. I was looking through them, trying to work out what they said when I saw them, first of all. And then to see a bottom line of 63,000 or 66,000 there. I know some of that's a loan. Well, there are 2 large loans there, but we can't be seen to be financing their loan interest or whatever they've got there. I just think it's very difficult to justify to anybody why we're going to spend this amount of money.
Thank you. Anybody else wish to make a comment? Yeah, Councillor Prigmore.
Thank you, Lady Mayor. I think the issues we've got is that Sandra's the town clerk has just sent through recently a supposedly up-to-date record, The one that came originally was very complicated. I do have concerns the fact that they put down as expenditure a transfer to Nationwide of 31,500 quid, which really shouldn't be expenditure. It should be part and parcel of their balance brought forward. So I think we've got two choices in many respects. Firstly, we refuse it, or secondly, we request that they, in some respects, explain their bookkeeping system, or at least give us a bookkeeping system that we can, in some respects, understand.
And could we refuse it? Tell them why we've refused it?
Yeah, I mean, all the grants are discretionary, and I would agree with Councillor Brigmore. He's been questioning things, and I've gone back and certainly asked questions about the players being paid in previous years. Haven't had a response to that, and they sent me the accounts, and I do agree. I mean, I'm not sure they've had loans, which they say are loans. I wonder if they've had grants from, because Grantscape is actually a grant funding people, and whether they had any grants from when it says ENC, whether they've been entitled to some of the COVID grants. Yeah. It's just that they're not, the accounts aren't very clear. So,
well, in that case, Councillor Prigmore, do you want to make a proposal that we refuse because the accounts aren't very clear?
No, I mean, I think the bottom line is that there's got £60,000 in their account. That's what their latest is showing, and I think we should, in many respects, decline the request for a grant because they've got £61,000 in the account. So therefore, I propose that we request it on them. We decline it on them grounds.
So that's a proposal.
That's a proposal.
Thank you. Would anybody like to second that proposal?
Can I just comment? I'm sorry to interrupt, Councillor Prigmore, but they've stated their bank balances are 21,214, and I agree that they're showing a transfer out to Nationwide of 31,539, but we don't know where that's gone. I mean, it's not showing in the account, so just refuse it on the basis we surmise that they've got 60,000 in their accounts is probably they'll come back. I could see them coming back and challenge that.
Right. Okay.
But I don't.
Okay, so I'll change my proposal to the grant.
Can I just ask you what Councillor Jackson wants to say?
Oh, sorry.
Sorry.
I must admit, I've got it in front of me, and I'm trying to balance up the fact that there are two clubs. It's obviously the Rushden, and then you've got Higham clubs. Rushden, they've got obviously ground loan, well, not loans, but payments, etc. Is it not possible that you could ask? I would have thought that it seems to me that it's a jumble of both accounts all being mishmashed backwards and forwards. So surely, isn't it possible that they can itemise it to Rushden and Higham, separate them, and all the amounts that are existing in the various banks attributed to the two clubs, so that we can actually make sense of it before we make any decision about either paying or not paying the grant?
The clubs have merged their merged finances. They're not. They're one club now. There isn't.
This is the way they've presented the account to us. So this is
to go from one side to the other.
No. Well, I don't know if it's transferring to one club. The Higham Cricket Club have closed their account, their bank account. It is now all under one umbrella as a joint account.
Sir Thomas.
Yes, thank you, Madam Mayor. I would like to have clarification on the accounts before we make a decision. So I think that should be put to them to come back with just exactly what the accounts mean, because they're not clear, and they need to be clear so we can see what their position is. Thank you.
Councillor Prigmore.
Can we bear in mind that I did make a proposal?
Yeah, okay. So we need to vote on Councillor Prigmore's proposal first. So have we got a second for Councillor Prigmore's proposal?
Sorry, Councillor Pigmore, can you repeat your proposal?
Because of their bank balance, we are refusing their grant.
Okay.
Have we got a seconder for Councillor Pigmore's proposal? Okay, have we got an alternative proposal on the table? Is that yours, Councillor Thomas? Would you like to say yours again, please?
Yes, I suggest that we seek clarification on their accounts so we can see their true picture. That's my proposal.
Right, thank you. Have we got a seconder for Councillor Thomas's proposal? Right, thank you, Councillor Redding. All those in favour of Councillor Thomas's proposal, would you please show hands?
1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Thank you. All those against? 1, and anyone abstaining?
Well, Pam, yeah, that's it, because Pam's not taking part.
What about Councillor O'Rourke?
He's a substitute. No, he's a substitute as well.
Okay.
Yeah.
Right, okay, thank you.
He's here as an observer.
Could I potentially caveat that and ask them for interim accounts? Because if it's not their year end, their latest accounts may not show a true depiction of where they are financially right at this moment.
We've had they're up to the 8th of November 2020.
Oh, are they? Okay.
Yeah,
apologies.
they're quite, the ones that went out recently are quite very recent.
And this £30,000 transfer, when did that go out, Sandra?
It just shows in the accounts for 2019-20. So, yeah, I mean, they are, I would say they're not very clear.
No.
And I think I can go through both sets and ask quite a lot of questions about them.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
So that's been carried anyway, hasn't it?
Yeah.
Right. Thank you. Right. I did see Sharon come back on the screen. Has she gone again?
Must be having issues because twice I've tried to admit them again and then they disappear.
Okay, so we'll carry on with 5.3, which is St Mary's Church, which is the Bede House. Right. Has anybody got any comment they'd like to make on this request for a grant? It's on page 17 in your agenda pack. Right, Councillor Thomas.
Yes, thank you, Madam Mayor. Yes, I'm keen to see the council support the church and particularly the Bede House because it's an important part of our town. So I'm not sure what sum we should be granting, but I think it needs to be a reasonable sum. And I wait to hear what other councillors have to say.
Thank you.
Can I just point out, first of all, you can only fund towards the Bede House. It is illegal for the council to help the church.
Okay.
Any of the church fabric. So
this fund has got to be specifically spent on the Bede House if we grant it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Councillor Pridmore. He's muted, Councillor Pridmore.
Sorry. In many respects, I agree with Councillor Thomas. We need to support it. How we support it is difficult to start with. I would like to think that in the first instance, we could support it to get open as quickly as possible. And that would be with the breakdown of the payment of the COVID proofing, which they've costed out quite nicely. After that, it starts to get very difficult because any sum that we could potentially give them would be a mere drop in the ocean of the £33,000 or £33,592 that they are talking about receiving. I certainly would like to see us get them up and running ASAP, which would be the COVID money for start off.
Which is
£569.91.
Right. Okay. Right. Anybody else got any comments they'd like to make? Councillor Whiting.
Madam Mayor, Yeah, I think we should support them if it's at all possible. You know, over the past year, they've lost an awful lot of income from not being able to use the bead house. There's not many nights when it's not used, and not many nights when it's getting rent being paid to them. I know it's the same as other businesses, everybody's suffering, but like Councillor Prigmore said, I think it'd be nice if we could cover the cost of the COVID proofing for them so that they can get up and running again.
Thank you. Anybody else like to make a comment? Councillor Prigmore?
Can I therefore propose then that we cover the cost of £569.91 for the COVID?
Shall we round it up?
proofing?
Can we round it up?
Can we bear in mind this money is from 1st of April 2021, so they may well want that element earlier
Can we
than
do?
that.
Can we do it quicker than that?
If that's what you wanted to do, that's fine, and we can find the money from somewhere to do that. I just wanted to make that clear.
Okay, Councillor Redding.
Yeah, thank you, Madam Mayor. I mean, yes, I will second Councillor.
Sorry, Tone, can I just put a clarify bit on that one? Because if we need to pay it straight away, then that needs to be in the proposal as well.
Yeah, I mean, what I was going to say was, what do we do? Let's round it up properly. And I mean, £569. I mean, why don't we just make it £600? It's nice and easy.
Okay.
It gives them a tiny bit more to cover, let's say, the fittings they need to put it in position. But we can, if Councillor Prigmore wants to amend his proposal, I think, to paying them as soon as possible, then I will still second it.
Thank you. Councillor Prigmore, come back to you.
Yes, so can I amend my proposal that we pay the projected cost of £600 towards COVID approving the bead house, and the payment to be made either ASAP or as soon as the bead house requests it.
Thank you. And Councillor Redding, you're seconding that?
Yes.
Right. All those in favour, would you please show your hands? All right. Thank you. Everybody's under.
Did
Right.
you want to consider any more for 2021?
Sorry, yeah.
Yeah, Councillor Redding.
Sorry, Madam Mayor. Sandra, maybe I mean, is this something, do we need to discuss it now, or do we, is this because we need to put it into a budget, or will we have the money from some part of our budget already available? So what I'm thinking about is whether or not it, as far as I know, they haven't actually started any, I mean, Councillor Whiting might be able to help on that, but they haven't started, they've got no start date, I don't think, or I haven't heard of one for doing any of this work. Is this something we can, I won't say put on the back burner, but we can leave to the next council, bearing in mind we've got elections coming up in May?
Yes, I mean, I had put provisionally some in a budget for 2021, £1,500 for them, but obviously we could take that out of that budget. But we also have a reserve called Home Ferrers Improvement Reserve, which I've looked to take this out because that helps projects that come up unexpectedly in a way that you didn't expect when you set the budget. So we have got money there we could use if they get going next year on this project.
I think it's so important for us as a town to help to maintain the bead house. It's got such an unusual history that, you know, it appeals to anybody that comes into the town. You know, they're absolutely amazed about what the history of Bead House is. As you know, the High Sheriff, wasn't it, Pam, when we took him round, you know, he was absolutely fascinated with the history of it, and we must help to maintain the building, I think. So I personally think it would be quite nice now to set some money aside for the next budget. So how much did you say that you thought of, Sandra? Was that 1,500?
I've actually, in the provisional figures for the budget, put £1,500.
So if we say, well, they've had 600 now, could we sort of say, well, we'd like to put aside £1,000 for next year's budget.
Yeah. I mean, yeah.
But if I propose that, is there somebody that would second it? Councillor Thomas, right, thank you. For all those in favour, it would you please show hands?
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 6, 4.
Anyone against that? Just one, and no abstention.
No.
Okay, right, thank you. And we're still going to go back to 5.1 now, which is the Bowls Club, and I don't see that they've joined us yet. Sandra, have they given up, do you think?
Yeah, I'll just have a quick, if you don't mind, I'll just have a quick look and make sure they haven't tried to email me. Yeah.
I think for Sandra, because she's not in, she's obviously at home rather, it is actually raining here, and I imagine, it depends on where they live, but all of us do run the risk of losing our internet when it's raining because water gets into the conduits.
Okay. I suggest, because I mean, at the end of the day, it's a resolve to recommend. So if he feels whatever decision you make to a recommendation, he can obviously come and talk at full council.
Okay.
If he feels he needs to.
Okay. So going back to 5.1 of the agenda is the High Ferris Bowls Club, which is on page, it starts on page 4 in your agenda pack. Has anybody got any comments that they wish to make on this request for a grant? Councillor Prigmore.
Don't say it like that.
Your hand went up and I just said Councillor Prigmore.
Again, we are looking at giving a grant to a club that has a substantial balance in the bank of 19,000. Now, I did notice that in 2018 they made 1,200 quid profit. 2019 they lost £290, and then this year they're recording a figure of plus 7,594. Now, I know they have received some grants from different places, but we have consistently over the years allocated money to these people, to the Bowls Club, and I think that with a balance of 19,000 quid, they should be looking to go forward on their own.
Anybody else wish to make a comment? Councillor Whiting.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. I'm going to be careful because I don't know what was agreed regarding the cricket club. But I seem to remember last year we went through a similar sort of scenario with the Bowls Club, and in the end I think we gave them half of what they were actually asking for because they had got quite a substantial amount in the bank account. I notice here I am quite concerned because it said they received grants totaling 11,000 from COVID-19 funding, and I think we've got to be very careful. We've all supported the cricket club, we've all supported the Bowls Club, and I am very reluctant because of the amount of money that they got in there. But I would like to see us offering half of. Well, they're asking for 3,500. I'd like to offer them 1,750. I don't know what anybody else thinks, but I think the 3,500 is rather a lot.
Thank you, Councillor Thomas.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. I agree with Councillor Whiting, and if that's a proposal from her, I would like to second it.
Yeah,
I just see what Councillor Redding has to say before we take the proposal. Thank you, Councillor Redding.
Before I was going to agree. Looking at the accounts, I mean, we gave them £3,500 in 2019, £1,600 for 2020, and they're still made a large gain on their bank balance. So I will agree, and I would support Councillor Whiting in this 1,750. Although I think if we can't decide for next year. But I think if they're still showing a big profit and they're still asking for 1,600 or £3,500, unless they've got a really specific project they need, I think they're going to only ever get half, if that, in future.
So there is a proposal on the table that they get half of what they've asked for. It's been seconded by Councillor Thomas. So could I have a show of hands for all those in agreement, please? Councillor Paul, right, thank you. And all those against, please show hands. Thank you. And the abstention? I think everybody's voted, right. Thank you. Right, item 6 on the agenda is the Rushden to Higham link, to consider whether to continue funding of the Rushden and Higham bus link in 2021 to 2022. This is on pages 68 to 69 in your agenda pack. Anybody got any comments that they would wish to make? Councillor Jackson.
It's obviously been a very difficult year this year, because I've been looking at the coaches as they go through, and I know we've always had this, there's only about half a dozen ever on them. Sometimes I've seen them going through with no people, but of course there is always this problem. They may go around the corner and pick up about 5 or 6 people. But I am mindful of the fact that there are people without their own transport. And so therefore, my own feeling is, at this moment in time, this year, let's support them.
I think it would be the wrong year to actually withdraw any support on this. And I think people do depend on it. So, Councillor Jackson, you've got a proposal. Can I just see what Councillor Redding has to say before we?
Yeah. I agree with Councillor Jackson, and of course, if he's not able to give away 750 quid to Alwyn and the and Hi-Fars, then he may wish to put 750 quid towards this, of course, which will reduce it won't reduce the cost on the taxpayer because we've already paid that money. But I agree with Councillor Jackson. I think this is not the time to be cutting something which is being used, however poorly or however oversubscribed it is, at this period when there are people trying to get around, probably with no income.
Thank you. Right. So Councillor Jackson made the proposal, and Councillor Redding, are you seconding it?
Yes.
Thank you. All those in favour, would you please show hands? Thank you. That's everybody. Sandra, thank you. Item 7 on the agenda is the business and stroke forward plan, to approve the updated business and forward plan, page 70 to 71. Right, do you want to speak about this, Sandra?
No, I mean, I just ask if anybody's got any questions. Hopefully it's quite clear from the spreadsheet.
Yeah, I don't think it's on page 70, 71, is it? It's
on page 33.
33, yeah. Yeah. Has anybody got any questions to Sandra on the forward plan, business stroke forward plan? Councillor Redding.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Yeah, it's just a question, Sandra, about other. I'm desperately trying to look at this again, but is there any work that we've had to put off this year because of COVID?
Well, the tree planting at Mallow Close has been delayed, but and it looks like we're getting prices, and Alicia may correct me on this, we're getting prices for a contract to do it. We had hoped to do a community tree planting, but obviously that's something we can't do, and we do need to plant the trees now, and the trees are on order, so we are looking to actually pay for the trees to be planted, which is a slight delay because it should have been done earlier this year, but we couldn't because of COVID. Really, apart from that, everything is moving along as it should do. Some of them might be been a bit slower, but really we haven't delayed anything in the office due to COVID, I don't feel.
Okay.
The only one, I suppose, is the charter project you haven't been able to actually deliver, because a lot of that is face to face as well. And I'm sure as being on the working party, you're aware of that, how that's had to change.
Yeah. Okay. Right. So can somebody propose that we accept the business forward plan? Thank you, Councillor Whiting. And seconded by Peter Thomas. And all those in favour, would you please show hands? Thank you. Thank you, Councillor Ford. Right, lovely. And Councillor 8, sorry, item 8 on the agenda is the budgets for 2021. Review the budgets for 2021. Anybody got any questions of Sandra now?
The only thing I would like to add on that one, I would like to propose that we fire £1,000 from the legal fees budget into the Rushton East budget, because the planning applications now come forward and I've had to instruct a consultant. It's probably going to cost a bit more than what's in the budget at the moment, but obviously we've got spare money in the legal fees budget, so there is enough money to do that. So I'd like to try add to the report that we transfer £1,000 from the legal fees budget to the Rushton East budget.
Okay, thank you. Anybody got any? Who said that? Councillor Jackson.
Yes, I'll second that.
Right, thank you. All those in favour?
Is that to all the amendments or just the one I said about Rushton East?
Just the one. Because I think we are going to need legal aid.
Yeah, I know. And obviously what in the notes is where I was suggesting make amendments to the current year's budgets. And that's what I'm asking council to agree, well, the committee to agree those. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, sort of 10.
Right. So you want them doing as one, Sandra?
Yes, unless you've got any particular ones you don't agree with.
Right, Councillor Thomas.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. I'd like to propose that we amend the budget figures as proposed by the clerk.
Right, thank you. Got a seconder for that?
Yeah,
Councillor Whiting, thank you. All those in favour, would you please show hands? Councillor Paul, has he gone?
I'm still here, sorry.
Sorry, we can't see you, Councillor Paul. Can you tell me how you're voting?
Can you see me? Yes,
No.
I'm voting in favour.
Right, thank you. Now we can see you. Thank you.
Got you.
Thank you. Right, that was carried then, Sandra. Item 10. Yeah, it's item 10 now, isn't it? Item 9. Yeah. Precept, to agree the precept figure for 2021 to 22. Right, Sandra, would you like to talk about this one?
I mean, obviously, you've had a load of spreadsheets and budget figures put in front of you. Bearing in mind what you've just agreed with grants, actually on the proposed budgets that I've put forward, there's actually a reduction of £2,250 overall on the budgets, because you've reduced, because I'd included in the grants budget that the fact that you would give the Bowls Club 3,500 and also 1,500 to the church. So you've actually agreed slightly less than what I predicted. Okay. So the overall budget can be reduced over that, but it's whether you've got any comments. I mean, the proposal I put forward is a small increase of £5,000 on our annual budget, which comes to based on no change to the council tax base. And this is one issue that we're not quite sure about until it's been voted through, because obviously we're going to unitary and that will change the council tax base. But on the figures I had, it's not going to be a massive change. That would be a 1.2% increase, or £1.73 a year.
Okay. Has anybody got any questions that they wish to ask Sandra? Would anybody then like, sorry, just say no. Would anybody then like to propose that we agree with the precept? Thank you, Councillor Whiting. And Councillor Thomas, would you second that?
Yes, I will.
Right, thank you. All those in favour, would you please show hands? Right, thank you. Item 11 on the agenda, are items to report. To report on any item not included on the agenda, no decisions can be taken under this item. Has anybody got anything they wish to report? Right, thank you. In that case, item 12 on the agenda is the date of the next meeting, which is 9th of February 2021. Wow, well after Christmas. So, thank you very much. Thank you for attending, everybody.
Thank you, Madam Mayor.
And
Good night.
Thank you.
Good night,
Thank you.
Madam Mayor.
see you soon.
Right, good night.
Pam,